We're going to talk about a really tough story from the world of motorsports today, the tragic death of Dennis Hamlin, who is the father of NASCAR star Denny Hamlin. Let's walk through what we know based on the reports. It all started with a sudden, terrible fire at the Hamlin family home, and it led to a devastating loss that has sent shockwaves through the entire NASCAR community. So, to really understand what happened, let's start with the basic facts of that tragic evening. Okay, so the victim was Dennis Hamlin, the father of the famous driver. He tragically passed away because of injuries he got in a house fire. This all happened at the family's home in Stanley, North Carolina, on a Sunday evening. And, just to add a really personal note to this tragedy, Dennis Hamlin was 75 years old. The emergency response was incredibly fast. But when those first crews showed up, they were walking into a situation that was just unbelievably dangerous and challenging. You can see how quickly they moved. The first call came in at 6:19 p.m., and firefighters were right there on site just 8 minutes later. But the fire was so intense, it required a massive response, eventually pulling in help from nearly a dozen different fire departments. Think about this. When the firefighters got there, almost half the house, 40 to 45% of it, was already completely engulfed in flames. This was a fire that was spreading incredibly fast, presenting a huge immediate challenge. And to make an awful situation even worse, one of the biggest problems they ran into was that there were no fire hydrants nearby. That meant every single drop of water they used had to be trucked in, which just complicated an already desperate battle. But beyond the details of the fire, it's so important to understand who Dennis Hamlin was, especially to his son. He was really the quiet strength behind one of NASCAR's biggest stars. Dennis Hamlin was there from day one. He was a constant presence. From those small local tracks all the way to the absolute pinnacle of NASCAR, his support was more than just a nice thing. It was the very foundation his son built a career on. And that support, it wasn't just a feel-good family story. It was the launching pad for one of the greatest careers in the history of the sport. It's what fueled Denny Hamlin to become a 3-time Daytona 500 champion, to rack up 60 Cup Series wins, and to earn his spot among the all-time greats. He even co-founded a racing team with Michael Jordan. That's the kind of success his father helped make possible. So, as you can imagine, as soon as the news of this tragedy started to break, the reaction from the NASCAR world, which is such a tight-knit community, was immediate and just full of heart. Yeah, this loss was felt so deeply across the board. You had fellow drivers, competing teams, and just legions of fans. Messages of support and sympathy for the Hamlin family were just pouring in from every corner of the sport. The seriousness of it all was really cemented when NASCAR itself issued an official statement. That action confirmed the news and formally acknowledged this huge loss for one of its most prominent families. Now, in the aftermath of a tragedy like this, there are always some key questions that remain. So let's talk about what we know about the situation as it stands right now.
Probably the most urgent question on everyone's mind is, of course, about Denny's mother, Mary Lou Hamlin, because she was also in the house at the time of the fire.
So the reports say that she was successfully rescued by the first responders and rushed to a hospital. Her condition, though, was listed as critical, and the whole community is just holding its breath, hoping for her recovery. And of course, the other major question that everybody has is, what started this devastating fire in the first place? The simple answer is, we don't know yet. The cause is still officially under investigation by the local authorities, and there's been no timeline given for when they might have some answers for us. So while that investigation continues, you have this deeply private family tragedy that's been thrust into the public spotlight. And for now, the focus remains exactly where it should be, on honoring the life of Dennis Hamlin and supporting his family as they try to navigate an absolutely unimaginable loss.